Workplace fit is an opportunity for a business to bring a mobile store to their location. It could be a warehouse where people are on their feet a lot or manufacturing. It could just be a law firm or accounting firm that understand that people's feet are very important to their overall well-being.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
All right, we are back with another episode of the Business Ninjas podcast. I'm Max Pittman. I'm a partner manager here. And we also have joining us today, Mr. Grant Fletcher. Grant is the Workplace Fit and Medical Marketing Coordinator at Fleet Feet. Grant, what's going on? Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Max. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Yeah, we're excited to have you here and talk a little bit about what you guys got going on at Fleet Feet. But first, love to learn a little bit more about yourself. Tell me, I guess, a little about yourself and how you got started in this industry.
Sure. Prior to 2014, the furthest I had ever run was 90 feet between bases. I was a baseball player and never thought of becoming a runner in any form or fashion. But having a father that served with the Marines during the Vietnam era, people always used to say, Grant, you should do the Marine Corps Marathon in memory of your father. Knowing I wasn't a runner, I could say, sure, that sounds like a great idea. Well, then I was in the fundraising world in the spring of 2014, and I got the opportunity to get a charity bib for the Marine Corps Marathon. I said, well, now somebody's saying put up or shut up. I can raise $1,000 overnight. Can I become a distance runner in 7 months? And I came to Fleet Feet, Syracuse, and went through the fit process, and that's how I started in running. And then after I did the first one, I put all that effort into training. I did a second one, and they started to hear stories of the fact that my very first race ever was a full marathon, 26.2 miles. And they said, well, that's kind of cool. We should bring him on as a coach. So I joined the staff as a coach. And then a little while later, I was getting ready to transition out of the fundraising world, and they heard that, and they said, well, you've got all these business-to-business contacts. Why don't you come to work for us in a coordinator position for our Workplace Fit program and our medical marketing program? And I said, yeah, let's sit down and explore that more. And I've been here 4 years now.
Love it. That's such a unique story. Like, I can't imagine my first race being a marathon at all. I like to think I'm a decent runner. I try to run a lot of being in Southern California. I definitely love to take advantage of those sunny days and sunny afternoons and warm weather for sure, but never thinking that a marathon would be my first race. So kudos to you for doing that. I mean, maybe a 5K, maybe a half marathon, but no, 26.2 miles. That's pretty incredible.
I wouldn't advise it.
Yeah.
It takes its toll on your body. Start at those lower distances and slowly work your way up.
I love that advice. Yes, agreed. Well, you've been at Fleet Feet for a little bit. Tell me, I guess, a little bit about the company, how the company gets started. Love to, kind of understand a little bit more about that as well.
Sure. Fleet Feet was started actually out on the West Coast in Sacramento in 1976, sort of at the peak of the running bull. Two women had raised their family and wanted to do something else, and they started to come up with ideas, and they said, well, let's start a running shoe company. And they did it out of their house. And went along a couple of years, and it was successful. So they added a second location and then a third, and little by little, they started expanding across the country. Fleet Feet Syracuse has been here now 22 years. It started as a franchise, and then a little more than a year ago, Fleet Feet, the franchisees decided to retire and gave the franchise back to Fleet Feet Development. And it's a very unique model in that while we're a run specialty store, 55% of our customers are not runners.
Right.
And that's where the Workplace Fit and the medical marketing program really fall into why it's such an important part of our business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why don't you tell me, I guess, a little bit more about that? So it sounds like, your focus is in the workplace. It is medical offices, hospitals. Tell me, I guess, a little about your focus and then the company's kind of niche focus as well.
Sure. So, workplace fit is an opportunity for a business to bring a mobile store to their location. It could be a warehouse where people are on their feet a lot or manufacturing. It could just be a law firm or accounting firm that understand that people's feet are very important to their overall well-being. And we load up a van and we bring out shoes for them and take them through our fit process, and they purchase them right there on the spot without ever having to come into one of our locations. So that's part of what I do. And then the second part is people with foot issues or even lower back, hips, might go to a PT or an orthopedic, and the medical professional will send them to us to, again, get them into a quality pair of shoes, quality pair of insoles, without breaking the bank. Custom insoles from a podiatrist are a few $100s. We've got a product that was actually started by a podiatry company. So it fills that gap between a big investment and one that will get them on the road to recovery.
I love it. I love it. That's super unique. It's a unique kind of retail experience, something that you don't get pretty much anywhere. And being a guy who loves shoes, everyone who knows me knows I love shoes. But to be able to get, like, if I was in that specific profession and I had the opportunity to, like, kind of get something custom made specific to me or specific to my role, I think that'd be a really fun experience. And I've obviously something that I would take advantage of, just being a sneakerhead myself.
Well, we aren't really a custom manufacturer. We sell major brands, Brooks, Hoka, New Balance, Saucony. But what people don't realize is just because it looks pretty on the wall, it might not have the functionality that they need to help prevent injuries, recover from injuries, and get them back on the path to leading a healthy and productive life.
Yes, agreed. Right, like shoes are like tires too, right? Like they can only take so much wear and tear before you need to replace them. And some shoes are built for people with high arches. But so if you have flat feet, you don't want to be in a shoe like that. So there's something that a lot of people don't think about when purchasing shoes, and I know that from some prior experience working for Nike. It's like, why wear this shoe if it's not gonna, be comfortable for you? It just doesn't make sense. But being in a workplace, that means that could mean, back pain. It could mean future medical bills. So getting people in the right shoes based on their foot shape is something that people probably don't think about until, like, they're in that position where, oh shoot, my back hurts. Maybe it's because of my shoes.
And it all goes back to that song that we learned in kindergarten about the big toe connecting to the ankle bone and the ankle bone to physiology terms. That's your kinetic chain.
Yeah.
But in kindergarten, you understood, and why we forget about it as we get older. And I tell people it's like a leaky roof. Just because the water is coming in right above your head, that might not be where the hole is. So
right.
And as you say, it's all about shape.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So going to the business perspective, like, what is, where are you guys seeing the revenue? Is it, from your retail brand? Is it from going, taking these, taking the fit process to these organizations? Like, where do you see the revenue being generated?
It's definitely it's a combination of the brick and mortar locations where people actually come into the retail outlets across the country. And then we've got a e-commerce portal called fleetfeet.com where anybody can go there and order shoes, have them shipped directly to you. But again, not everybody can get out on a weekend because of family commitments to be fit when they aren't working. So if they spend a ton of time at their workplace for us to come, it's sort of that added value service that we can provide. And that's what separates us from a lot of other
Mhm.
outlets is our overall fit experience. It's not, the metal device that you used to stand on is called the Brannick device, and it was actually started here in Syracuse. But we have technology now that you stand on, and it gives us 3D images of your feet, both standing still and in motion. And we use that to know, oh, their foot rotates in, they've got a very flexible arch. We better put them in a shoe that's got a little bit more stability posting in them to keep their foot more neutral in motion.
Mhm. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of science that goes into someone's gait too, right? Like standing is a
Yeah.
lot different than walking around. Yeah, it's super interesting. So like, and you were saying a little bit about like how you guys, are standing out from the competition. Are there specific, locations that perform better, or is it, hey, like this, specific industry is one that actually like we work really well with. Like, what is that X factor? What's the secret sauce, for how you guys are standing out?
I think it's the fit experience. And I don't know the exact history. When I know the one woman's name is Sally, and I always forget her partner's name. I don't know how they developed the process for the fitting, but
Mhm,
that's what hooked me, you know, 7, 8 years ago. Is I came in and they spend a half hour, 45 minutes with you,
mhm,
allowing you to try different shoes on. They have a track that you can run on to get a feel of how they feel. And there are some shoes, as soon as you put them on, feel terrible.
mhm,
And nope, I don't want that one. Well, we'll bring the next one out. And after 3 tries, we still don't have it right. We'll keep bringing them out until, we sort of find Cinderella's slipper for your foot.
mhm. I love that. It's kind of like I joined this because I love the experience, something I believe in. It's something that I want to do and can be partnered up with because I know it can change people's lives, because there's everyone suffers from pain somewhere, right? So I love that kind of story of like, hey, here's why I joined. Like this is just my experience. So it's something that I can really get behind and something I can really do and sell and promote. But you've been there for 3 or 4 years. You were there during COVID, right? Like how did COVID affect the organization? Like, can you tell me a little bit about the COVID years and maybe what you guys have done since then?
So sure, prior to the spring of 2020, of our outlets across the country, there were a designated few that fulfilled the orders through fleetfeet.com. The shutdown happens. We have all of these locations with all kinds of inventory. What can we do to help them succeed? Well, basically, at that time, the 170 locations were all mini warehouses. So what if we open up the e-commerce portal to fulfillment from all of those locations?
Mm,
So I would come in on a Monday morning we've got 2 locations here in Syracuse. I would go to one on Monday morning and I would just start fulfilling those e-commerce orders. And I sent them all over the country. Um, we were fortunate here in New York to be designated as a, what was the term?
Fulfillment.
Required. Oh, yes. So we could not only do the e-commerce side of things, but could do the curbside pickup because we work so close with the medical professionals that people could call the store. We process the transaction over the phone. They'd come to the door. They'd pop their trunk. We'd go out, put the stuff in the trunk, and they'd be on their way.
hmm That's great. I mean, it was a tough few years, right? And a lot of businesses really hurt, but you obviously had to maybe play a little offense, a little bit of defense. Sounds like you guys really went on the offense and figured out ways to find solutions to problems that people were experiencing and making sure that you guys could be a solution that people needed in that time.
Yeah, and we were recognized at the national level. Forbes magazine did an article about the concept of taking all of these shoe outlets and turning them into mini warehouses to keep
hmm
everybody viable for the future.
I love it. That's so great. Um, yeah, I think for the rest of our conversation, let me just kind of understand, like, what are you guys doing for the next upcoming year? Like, what's the focus for the organization? How are you guys thinking about growing?
So our CEO likes to use the phrase, we're one of the best kept secrets We have a little more than 200 locations right now across the country. We'd like to expand that even more. So unless we're in a market, people really don't know about all of the dedicated service that we can provide to a customer. And even within, a market, people have misconceptions of the Fleet Feet brand that, they're expensive. No, our prices are the same as any other outlet because those prices are set by the manufacturers. But what you get with us is, your back hurts or you're just recovering from this injury. Well, we have compression products and massage tools that can help with that recovery as well that they aren't aware of.
Yeah, you guys provide such a interesting solution to something that we all do. We all buy shoes, right? Like I'm going to go to Nike store. I'm going to go on Nike online, buy something that I like just because I like it, right? But functionality might not be the best fit for me. And so you guys do provide this really unique experience. Like it is an experience, like that's in your title, right? Like you provide this really unique experience for helping people find the right shoe, which is in some cases a solution to a problem or a solution to, an organization that they're working for, and they need to make sure that they can, be productive, and productivity is going to be key. It sounds like that's really where you guys are focused, which I love. Is there something that, maybe the company has thought about, a year from now, something you want to be celebrating? Just love to understand like what's on the roadmap.
Again, brand wise, we want to expand. Locally, we're looking to expand. And a lot of that, so people come in and they have a great experience. They keep coming back because of the community that we have. They see us out at the local 5Ks running in our Fleet Feet apparel, and they stop and ask us questions. I think if we can expand that street level community engagement, that's going to help the brand tremendously.
I love it. And sounds like people are going to be able to find you out in Syracuse. Where else can people find Fleet Feet and find out where you guys are?
Sure. If they just go to fleetfeet.com, it'll bring to the main web page. And then in the upper corner, you can put in your zip code. And it will bring up if there's a store close to you or where the closest one is. And all you need to do is do that. And I tell you, we have people here in central New York that drive all the way down from northern New York, 3.5, 4 hours from here just to go through our experience.
If someone listening to this says, hey, I'm in, a rural area, kind of like what you were just describing, I'm not close to a retail outlet. Like how do you guys take and think about taking the workplace fit program to other places?
In an extreme rural area, that's kind of hard. But again, if they have an idea of what shoe size they are, they can order the product right from the website. It's shipped to them. And whether they get it online or in store, we have a happy fit guarantee. You have 60 days to use the product however you want, inside, outside, mud, snow, whatever the case may be. And if at any point in those 60 days it isn't living up to your expectations, you send it back to us, you bring it into a retail location, and we can try again. And that really is one of the features that goes along with our service, is that extra little value of, well, geez, I can run a 5K that I have tomorrow, and I waited till the last minute to get a new pair of shoes. And if I don't like them, I can still bring them back. You sure can.
Yeah, I mean, 60 days, that's quite a commitment or policy that you guys have. And that's something that kind of the try before you buy type process that you're giving people the opportunity to do. So I can see a lot of value in that. And I've really enjoyed this conversation. I feel like it's something like I need to look more into myself instead of just going on Nike.com and finding something. I need to look and see what you guys got going on at Fleet Feet moving forward. But I really appreciate your time today and educating us on who you are and what Fleet Feet is doing and where you guys are positioning yourself and who you're working with. So is there anything else you want to add or anything else you want to kind of tell the audience before we go?
Again, just visit fleetfeet.com, start that experience. That's what I did. One of the tabs says outfitting. Go there. It explains the process, the brands that we have. And we take calls because we're in the north. We take calls this time of year from people in Florida that live up here saying, my shoes need to be replaced. I'm playing too much pickleball down here. Can I pay for them over the phone, and we'll send them down to them? So
Love it. I love it. I love it. Well, it's great meeting you and reconnecting, Grant. Thank you so much for your time. Grant, again, we have Grant Fletcher here. He is the workplace fit and medical marketing coordinator at Fleet Feet. And we appreciate your time today and being a part of the podcast, and looking forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so much.
thank you.